Hello guys, I am Vaishali Kikar and we are discussing chemistry. So this is the last chapter on chemistry, which is the gaseous laws, the gaseous mixtures and the gaseous reactions. So we are going to deal in detail with this chapter and we are going to talk about a lot of concepts and numericals based upon this chapter. So let's start our discussion with the first concept. The first concept is the law of combining volume. The law of combining volume was given in 1808 by the scientist Joseph Gay-Lussac. Right, so this scientist said that when measured at the same temperature and pressure, so here we are not varying the temperature and pressure, we have the constant temperature and pressure. The volume of gaseous reactants and the product of chemical reaction are always a simple ratio of whole numbers. When we have all of the reactants in gaseous form and all of the products in the gaseous forms, so their ratio will always in the simple whole number ratio. So if I have the one volume of hydrogen is combining with the one volume of chlorine to produce 2 volume of HCl. So you can see here we have the ratio as a simple whole number. But this is not always true. So you can see the reaction. Nitrogen gas N2 gas plus hydrogen gas 3H2 gas is giving me 2NH3. So here you can see the coefficient. Coefficient over here is 1. So in front of nitrogen we don't have any coefficient, we can write it as 1. In front of hydrogen we have the coefficient 3, so coefficient here would be 3 and here the coefficient would be 2. So the mole ratio would be 1:3:2. So the coefficient is 1:3:2, mole ratio will also be 1:3:2. If I see the volume ratio will also be 1:3:2. Now here you can see we are not having the simple whole number ratio. So now this is explained by the Avogadro's law. Avogadro's law states that the volume of gas is directly related to the amount of gas. What is the amount of gas? The number of moles of the gas. So volume of gas is directly related to the number of moles of the gas when the temperature and the pressure of the gas remains constant. I am not varying the temperature and pressure. Equal volume of gas under identical condition contains the same number of entities. So if I have equal number of entities, it is giving me the equal volume of the gas. So this can be stated as V1 upon N1 is equal to V2 upon N2, or I can write it as V upon N as constant. Right, so this is my Avogadro's law. So based upon this we have a question which states a balloon with volume of 34.5 liter is filled with 3.2 mole of helium gas. Right, to what volume will the balloon expand if 8 gram of helium is added? We have to assume the constant temperature and pressure. So here we have the constant temperature and pressure. We are going to relate the volume with the number of moles. So here we will use the Avogadro's law, according to which V1 upon N1 is equal to V2 upon N2. So here we know how much amount of helium is added. So we know the amount of helium added is 8.0 gram. From the mass of the helium we can find out the number of moles of the helium that is added. So number of moles of helium added is the mass of the helium added multiplied with the 1 mole divided by the molar mass of the helium, which is 4. So here the number of moles of helium added is equal to mass of helium added multiplied with 1 mole divided by the molar mass of helium, which is 4 gram. So it is the given mass of helium added is 8 gram. So let's put it here. We have 8 gram multiplied with 1 mole divided by 4 gram. So the number of moles of helium that is added is 2 mole. What would be the final number of moles? The initial number of moles of helium plus the number of moles of helium that are added. So initial number of moles was given in the question itself, 3.2 moles. So N2 would be N1 plus 2.0 mole. So N1 was 3.2 moles. So N2 is 3.2 mole plus 2.0 mole, which is 5.2 mole. Now I know what is N2, I know what is N1, I know what is V1. I have to find out V2. I can rearrange this equation. V1 upon N1 is equal to V2 upon N2. So V2 will be equal to V1 N2 upon N1. So V1 is 34.5 liter multiplied with N2 is 5.2 mole divided by N1 is 3.2 mole. So from here we can calculate the V2 as 56 liter. Right, coming to the next concept, which is the molar volume. Molar volume is the volume that 1 mole of gas occupies at a specific temperature and pressure. This specific temperature pressure we can take as a standard temperature and pressure, the STP, or we can also take it as SATP, the standard ambient temperature and pressure. So at the STP, if I talk about the STP, what is the standard temperature and pressure? It is 0 degrees Celsius, as the temperature and the pressure is 101.325 kilopascal. At this condition, temperature and pressure, STP condition, the volume of the gas would be fixed 22.4 liter. Whatever the gas is, it is nitrogen gas, hydrogen gas, helium gas, whatever the gas is, its volume is fixed 22.4 liter. At SATP, that is the temperature is 25 degrees Celsius and the pressure is 100 kilopascal. At SATP, the volume of the gas is fixed, it is 24.8 liter. Whatever the gas is, what we have to consider, we have to consider the temperature and pressure condition as 25 and 100 respectively. So now coming to the question based upon it, question states a party balloon has 2.5 mole of helium gas in it. At STP, what is the volume of the balloon? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to multiply the amount of helium gas by the conversion factor from the mole ratio at STP. So we know 1 mole of the gas, whatever the gas is, it is occupying 22.4 liter at STP, that I had already told you. Now what would be the conversion factor? Conversion factor we had to find out. We have to find out the answer in liters. So we will be having the conversion factor as 22.4 liter divided by 1 mole. The number of moles are given, so we can find out the output volume as the number of moles multiplied with the conversion factor 22.4 liter divided by 1 mole. So volume would be, how many number of moles we have? 2.5. So volume is 2.5 mole multiplied by 22.4 liter divided by 1 mole, that is 56 liter. So now I hope you understood how we are finding out the volume if I have the given number of moles at STP. When we know the volume of 1 mole of gas at STP, that is 22.4 liter. Coming to the ideal gas. What is the ideal gas? It is a hypothetical gas. It is not an actual gas. It is just an hypothetical gas which is composed of particles which are having no size. Can I have any particle with zero size? No, I can never. So this is the reason I am calling it as a hypothetical gas. It travels in straight line, have no attraction to each other, zero attraction to each entity. It is again a hypothetical situation and we are not having any kind of molecular forces at all. So this is why I can say we have the ideal gas as a hypothetical gas and we are considering the laws, considering the ideal gas only. So we have some properties of the ideal gas. Let's understand what all properties do the ideal gas exhibit. The ideal gas have the entities that have high translational energy and thus entities have high translational energy. This I can say entities are moving randomly in all direction but in straight line. So translational energy means the movement in the straight line. So when I have the high translational energy, so the entities are moving in all directional randomly in straight line. So the second property states that when an ideal gas entity collide with each other or with the container wall. So if I have two entities, these are two entities, these are colliding with each other or with the wall of the container, the collisions are perfectly elastic. So now what is an elastic collision? In an elastic collision, we are not having the loss of the kinetic energy. So we are not having any losses and this is again a hypothetical situation. The volume of the ideal gas entity is insignificant. We can say the volume of the ideal gas entity is zero compared to the volume of the container, again a hypothetical situation. So these are all the properties of the ideal gases. These are the properties that can never be existing in the real situation, thus it's a hypothetical gas. Coming to the next property, there is no attractive or repulsive forces between the ideal gas entities. The attractive or the repulsive forces is exactly zero, again a hypothetical situation. Ideal gas do not condense into liquid when cooled. So whenever we are cooling the ideal gas, how much we are cooling the ideal gas? We can cool it to any extent but it will never be converting into liquid. This is again a hypothetical situation because gases, when they are cooled beyond a limit, they can convert into the liquid. Now coming to the ideal gas law. Ideal gas law is found out by combining the Charles law, the Boyle's law and the Avogadro's law. We had talked about all three of them. Now we are combining all three of them. Thus the ideal gas law states that the product of the pressure and the volume of the gas is directly proportional to the amount is in the moles, and the absolute temperature of the gas. So the product of pressure and volume is PV is equal to, it is proportional to the amount of gas, that is N, and the absolute temperature T. So if I remove the proportionality constant, I will be getting a constant R, which is the universal gas constant. So PV is equal to nRT is the ideal gas equation. What is R? R is the universal gas constant. What is the universal gas constant? It's a constant in ideal gas law equation that relates the pressure, volume, amount and the temperature of an ideal gas. This is a constant which is relating all of these entities: pressure, volume, amount or the number of moles and the temperature. So now based upon this we have some question. Let's discuss the first question. The Goodyear blimp has a volume of 2.5 into 10 raised to power 7 liter and usually operates with the gas at a temperature of 12 degrees Celsius and the pressure of 112 kilopascal. What amount of helium does the blimp contains? What is the mass of the amount of the helium? So for this amount of the helium we have to find out the mass. So we are going to first convert the temperature in Kelvin. So temperature is 12 degrees Celsius. In Kelvin it would be 12 plus 273, which is 285 Kelvin. We know the ideal gas equation PV is equal to nRT. So from here if I rearrange it, I will be getting N as PV upon RT. The pressure is given 112 kilopascal into V. Volume is given 2.5 into 10 raised to power 7 liter upon R. R is 8.314 kilopascal liter per mole per Kelvin into temperature, which is 285 Kelvin, that we have already converted in Kelvin as 12 degrees Celsius. So now here when I compute it, you will be getting 1.18 into 10 raised to power 6 moles. Now here we have the number of moles, but I have to find out the mass of the helium. So mass of the helium is number of moles multiplied with the molar mass, number of helium multiplied 4 gram per mole. So mass of helium is 1.18 into 10 raised to power 6 mole multiplied 4 gram per mole, that is 4.7 into 10 raised to power 6 gram. Coming to the next question, which states calculate the volume of 32.4 gram of nitrogen gas in a container at 25 degrees Celsius and 96.4 kilopascal. So here again the temperature is given in degrees Celsius. First of all we have to convert the temperature in Kelvin. 25 plus 273 is 298 Kelvin. So now here I know the number of moles of nitrogen will be given as the given mass upon the molar mass. The given mass of the nitrogen divided by the molar mass of nitrogen is 28.02 gram per mole. So given mass is 32.4 gram and it is multiplied with 1 mole divided by 28.02 gram. So here the number of moles of N2 we can calculate, which is 1.156 moles. If I know the number of moles of N2, I can find out the volume. All other parameters are given. nRT upon P is the volume. By rearranging the ideal gas equation, PV is equal to nRT, I have taken the pressure in the denominator. So number of moles we had calculated. So number of moles was equal to 1.156. So 1.156 moles multiplied with R, which is 8.314 kilopascal liter mole inverse Kelvin inverse, multiplied with the temperature that we had calculated in Kelvin, 298 Kelvin, divided by the pressure 96.4 kilopascal, which is already given in the question itself. So when you compute it, you will be getting 29.7 liter, that is the volume. Coming to the next question based upon the ideal gas equations, that states that determine the density of 1 mole of pure carbon dioxide gas at standard temperature and pressure. Here you should know what is the temperature at STP and what is the pressure at STP, right? So we know at STP the temperature is 0 degrees Celsius, which is 273 Kelvin, and the pressure is 101.325 kilopascal. So now we have to find out the density. For density we require the mass and we require the volume. So volume can be computed as nRT upon P by rearranging the ideal gas equation. So what is the number of moles? Number of moles is given 1.0 mole. 1.0 mole multiplied with the R, the universal gas equation constant, so 8.314 kilopascal liter per mole per Kelvin, multiplied with the temperature. At STP the temperature is 273 Kelvin divided by the pressure, which is 101.3 kilopascal. So the volume comes out to be 22.4 liter. The next thing we have to calculate is the mass. So for mass we are taking the number of moles of CO2 in consideration. Because we know the molar mass, we know the number of moles, I can find out the given mass. I know the number of moles is given mass upon the molar mass, and the given mass will be equal to the number of moles multiplied with the molar mass of CO2. The molar mass of CO2 is 44.01 gram per mole, and now from the molar mass and the number of moles is 1.0 mole. So 1.0 mole multiplied with 44.01 gram per mole gives me 44.01 gram. This is the mass of the CO2. Now we have found out the mass of CO2, and we have also found out the volume of the CO2. We can easily find out now the density of CO2, which is the mass of CO2 divided by the volume of CO2. Mass of CO2 is 44.01 gram. Volume of CO2 is 22.4 liter. So if you calculate it, it will be coming out to be equal to 1.96 gram per liter. Coming to the next question. The next question, again, it is based upon the ideal gas equation, and now the question states 10.24 gram of pure gas occupies 2.10 liter at 123 degrees Celsius and 49.7 kilopascal. Calculate the molar mass. So pressure is given, temperature is given, the temperature is given is in degrees Celsius, and the volume is given. So first of all, we have the temperature in degrees Celsius. We are going to convert the temperature in Kelvin. So by adding 273, so 123 plus 273 is 396 Kelvin. This is my temperature in Kelvin. So by rearranging the ideal gas equation, I get the number of moles as PV upon RT. So what is the pressure? Pressure is given 99.7 kilopascal. What is the volume? It is also given. It is 2.10 liter divided by R. R is a universal gas constant. It is 8.314 kilopascal liter per mole per Kelvin. Right? It is multiplied with the temperature that we have already calculated in Kelvin. It is 396 Kelvin. So when you compute it, when you do the calculation, you will get the number of moles as 0.06359 moles. Here, now you have calculated the number of moles. Now you have to find out the molar mass of the gas. From the number of moles, you can find out the molar mass of the gas by dividing it by the given mass. Given mass is also here 10.24 gram. So molar mass would be the given mass 10.24 gram divided by the number of moles. So it is 0.06359 mole. So 10.24 divided by 0.06359 gives me 161 gram per mole. So 161 gram per mole is the molar mass of the given pure gas. Coming to the next concept, which is the defining the molar volume for the ideal gases and real gases. Right, so first of all, we have to find out the STP condition. So we are taking the temperature and pressure at the STP condition as 0 and 101.3. Temperature is 0 degrees Celsius, which can be written as 0 plus 273 Kelvin, which is 273 Kelvin. Pressure is 101.3 kilopascal. The number of moles we are taking to be 1 mole, and the universal gas constant R is 8.314 kilopascal liter per mole per Kelvin. Right, now we can rearrange the ideal gas equation. The volume we have to calculate. So volume is in left hand side, other parameters are at the right hand side. So volume is nRT upon P. We know what is N, we know R, we know T, we know P. So let's put all of the values. N is 1 mole, R is 8.314 kilopascal liter per mole per Kelvin, and the temperature is 273 Kelvin. Right, so here we have Kelvin divided by the pressure, which is 101.3 kilopascal. So when you do the computation, you will get 22.4 liter. Now coming to the next concept, which is the Dalton's law of partial pressure. Dalton's law, obviously it was given by the scientist Dalton, and it's based upon the partial pressure of the non-reacting gases. Right, so if I have various partial pressure of non-reacting gases, if I have a container, in this container we have various gases, O2 gas, CO2 gas, nitrogen gas, helium gas, right? So we have various gases in this container, and we know the partial pressure of the gases individually. We know the partial pressure of O2, CO2, as well as the partial pressure of N2 and partial pressure of helium gas. So this is how we know all of the partial pressure, and now we are required to find out the total pressure exerted at this container. According to the Dalton's law of partial pressure, the total pressure of the mixture of non-reacting gases, the condition is that these gases must be non-reacting, then only I can use the Dalton's law. The total pressure of the mixture of non-reacting gases is equal to the sum of partial pressure of individual gases. So P total is equal to P1 plus P2 plus P3 plus so on. Based upon the Dalton's law of partial pressure, now we have a question. The question states, a compressed air tank for scuba diving designed for depth of 30 meter has an oxygen gas at a partial pressure of 2.8 into 10 raised to power 3 kilopascal and nitrogen gas at a partial pressure of 1.1 into 10 raised to power 4 kilopascal. What is the total pressure in the tank in atmosphere and in kilopascal? Right, so this is it. Okay, so now we have to find out the total pressure. We know that the oxygen gas and the nitrogen gas are non-reactive at a lower temperature. So we require a very high temperature to get the nitrogen and the oxygen gas reacted, and in the scuba diving we are not getting that high temperature. The depth is not used, this 30 meter parameter is given just to confuse you. So we are not going to use this 30 meter distance or depth anywhere in this solution. So the total pressure according to the Dalton's law of partial pressure is the partial pressure of the first gas plus the partial pressure of the second gas. First gas is the oxygen, so partial pressure of oxygen gas plus the partial pressure of the nitrogen gas is the total pressure. These two are given, so 2.8 into 10 raised to power 3 kilopascal plus 1.1 into 10 raised to power 4 kilopascal. It is giving me the total pressure, which is 1.38 into 10 raised to power 4 kilopascal. Coming to the next question, which states, if atmosphere is 21% oxygen by volume and atmospheric pressure is 101.3 kilopascal, what is the pressure of atmospheric oxygen? We have to find out just the pressure of atmospheric oxygen. So now here again we are considering that the oxygen in the atmosphere is not reacting with any other gas. Right, so the pressure of oxygen will be equal to the percentage of the oxygen multiplied with the atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure is 101.3 kilopascal multiplied with 21 by 100, so it is giving me 21 kilopascal. So 21 kilopascal is the pressure exerted by just the oxygen in the atmosphere. Now coming to the next concept, which is collecting gas over water. So here what we are doing, we are taking a container, we are taking gas in the another container. So we are putting a pipe from the container which is having the gas to the container which is having the liquid. So from this pipe we are sending the gas to the liquid. So when we are sending the gas to the liquid, so what will happen? The bubbles will be generated. So now when we are collecting gas over water, the gas bubbles will rise up over the water and water is forced out from the beaker, right? So the water is forced out, gas bubbles are moving upside. So it depends upon what pressure we are sending the gas from the first beaker to the second beaker. The total pressure is equal to the atmospheric pressure is equal to the pressure of gas collected plus the pressure of water vapor. So from here if I rearrange it, the pressure of gas collected is equal to atmospheric pressure minus the pressure of water vapor. Based upon this concept, let's discuss the question. The question states the hydrogen gas is collected using the downward water displacement. If atmospheric pressure is 100.5 kilopascal and the temperature 20 degrees Celsius, determine the pressure of hydrogen gas. The pressure of hydrogen gas can be calculated as the atmospheric pressure minus the pressure of water. This is again the collection of gas over water, the collection of gas of hydrogen over the water, right? So pH2 is equal to atmospheric pressure minus pressure of H2O. Atmospheric pressure over here is given 100.5 kilopascal minus the pressure of H2O. So pressure of H2O, it is also given, it is 2.34 kilopascal, right? So now here we can find out the subtraction we can do, and we can now find out the pressure of H2, which is 98.16 kilopascal, right? So for finding out the pressure of H2O, what you are going to do, you are going to find out the pressure using the temperature, right? So you can use the temperature parameter and find out the pressure of H2O. Coming to the next concept, which is the gas stoichiometry. According to the gas stoichiometry, when gas reacts, volume of the reactant and the volume of the product react in the whole number ratio if the temperature and pressure are constant. So based upon the gas stoichiometry, we have two questions. So we have the question which states a catalytic converter in exhaust system of a car uses oxygen and a catalyst to convert carbon monoxide to carbon dioxide. If temperature and pressure remain same, what volume of oxygen is required to react with 65 liter of carbon monoxide produced during a road trip? So we know the amount of carbon monoxide, right? So we need to find out what we need to find out. We need to find out the volume of O2. So first of all, we are going to write out the balanced chemical equation. So 2CO in the gaseous form plus O2 in the gaseous form gives CO2 in the gaseous form. So the amount of carbon monoxide is 65 liter. The volume of O2 is not given, that we have to find out. So we have V of O2. Conversion factor, it would be 1 mole of O2. The amount of O2 we have to find out, so we are going to put the coefficient of O2 in the numerator. So 1 mole of O2 divided by 2 mole of carbon monoxide. So volume of O2 is equal to volume of carbon monoxide multiplied with 1 mole O2 divided by 2 mole of carbon monoxide. Volume of carbon monoxide, let's put it here, 65.0 liter multiplied with 1 mole of O2 divided by 2 mole of carbon monoxide. So it is 32.5 liter. This was a very simple question. Based upon this, let's discuss the next question. What amount of carbon dioxide is produced when 6.4 gram of methane CH4 in gaseous form reacts with the excess of oxygen in the gaseous form? So O2 in the gaseous form. All gases are at 35 degrees Celsius and 100 kilopascal. So the temperature is given in degrees Celsius. First of all, let's convert the temperature into Kelvin. 35 degrees Celsius is 35 plus 273 Kelvin, which is 308 Kelvin. Now coming to the balanced chemical equation. According to the balanced chemical equation, we have CH4 in the gaseous state plus 2O2 in the gaseous state gives me CO2 in the gaseous state plus 2H2O in the gaseous state. So CH4 is the methane, which is having the amount 6.4 gram. Right, so this mass is given as 6.4 gram. We have to find out the volume of CO2. So the number of moles of methane we can calculate. We know the molar mass of methane. We can calculate simply the molar mass of methane. So number of moles of CH4 is the given mass upon the molar mass. Given mass of methane is 6.4 gram divided by the molar mass, which is 16.05 gram per mole. So the number of moles of methane is 0.3988 moles. So if you see the conversion factor for methane and if you see the conversion factor for CO2, so methane is having the coefficient 1 and the CO2 is having the coefficient 1. So conversion factor would be 1 mole of CO2 divided by 1 mole of CH4. So conversion factor is 1 by 1, which is 1. So number of moles of methane is equal to the number of moles of carbon dioxide. Number of moles of carbon dioxide thus comes to be equal to 0.3988 moles. Now we know the number of moles of carbon dioxide. We can easily calculate the volume of the carbon dioxide because other parameters are already given in the question. So number of moles of carbon dioxide multiplied with R multiplied with T divided by P. So number of moles of carbon dioxide is 0.3988 mole multiplied with R, which is 8.314 kilopascal. Liter mole inverse Kelvin inverse multiplied with the temperature 308 Kelvin divided by the pressure 100 kilopascal. So the volume comes out to be equal to 10.2 liter. So now coming to the last question for the day, which states what mass of sodium oxide is required to produce 67 liter of nitrogen gas that is required to fill a safety airbag in automobile Assume temperature is 32 degrees Celsius, pressure is 105 kilopascal. So temperature is 32 degrees Celsius. First of all, what we are going to do? We are going to convert this temperature into Kelvin. So 32 plus 273 over here is 305 Kelvin. So now based upon the balanced chemical reaction, we are going to do the further calculation. So first of all, I need to find out what is the balanced chemical equation. 2NaN3 in the solid gives 2Na in the solid plus 3N2 in the gaseous form. So 2NaN3 is represented as the mass of NaN3 and 3N2 is represented as having the volume 67 liters. So it is already given in the question. So from here I can find out the mass of NaN3 we have to calculate, right? So the number of moles of N2 we can calculate because its volume is given. We can find out the number of moles of N2 by rearranging the ideal gas equation PV of N2 divided by RT. So number of moles, N is PV upon RT. So volume here I am considering for N2. So now the pressure is given 105 kilopascal multiplied with the volume of N2 which is given 67 liter divided by R which is 8.314 kilopascal liter per mole per Kelvin multiplied with the temperature which is 305 Kelvin. So when you do the computation you can find out the number of moles of N2 which is 2.774 moles. Now from the number of moles of N2 we can find out the number of moles of NaN3. How? By the help of the conversion factor. The conversion factor would be 2 divided by 3. So number of moles of NaN3 is 2.774 moles multiplied with the 2 moles of NaN3 divided by 3 moles of N2. So multiplied with 2 by 3. So 2.774 multiplied with 2 by 3 is 1.849 moles. Now we have found out the number of moles of NaN3. The molar mass of NaN3 we can calculate. It is 65 gram per mole. Right, so now the given mass of NaN3 is the number of moles multiplied with the molar mass. 1.849 mole multiplied with 65 gram per mole which is 120 gram. So this is how you can calculate the given mass of NaN3 with the help of the various parameters given in the question. I hope you understood all of the things that I have discussed. Thank you so much.